Next, we'll build a complete example by combining some extended commands. This file also has a sheet that summarizes sales data for all models. Merge. And we need to do two things. First, calculate sales revenue based on selling price and sales volume and write it into the sales column. Then split the merge table into multiple worksheets by model. Step 1. Complete the calculation of the sales amount. In Excel, if you want to calculate the product, you just need to enter the correct formula in the cell and then drag it down. The result will be calculated automatically. This process can be done using fill down with formulas in extended commands. The formula is equals C2 times D2. The target column is E. The start row is row 2. For end row, we use -1 to indicate and set the worksheet to merge. After running it, column E will be filled with the calculated results correctly. However, note that at this point, the cells actually store formulas rather than pure values. If you want to turn the formulas in column E into values, you can use formula to value in extended commands and set the target to column E. After clicking Run, the formulas will then get replaced with their corresponding values. Step 2. Split the merge table data by model. Assuming we only process the data for iPhone 17, the specific steps are: first, filter out the data for iPhone 17, read the filtered data, and write it into a new worksheet named iPhone 17. Excel itself has powerful filtering features, and once you turn them on, you can easily filter the target data. For this feature, Automa also offers the corresponding extended command filter. By default, set the filter row to the first row, specify the filter column as column A where the model is located. Enter iPhone 17 as the filter content. Set matching mode to equals, and set the sheet name to merge. Run this command on its own, and you'll see the data for iPhone 17 get filtered out. To read the filtered content, you can use read filtered data in extended commands. Start filtering from the first row and specify the sheet name as merge. The data you read is still stored as a list, so name it current filtered data. To create a new worksheet, use Add Worksheet to Excel Workbook and name it iPhone 17. You can also choose to add it at the first or last position. Just pick whichever you prefer. To write the data, use Write to Excel Worksheet, set Start Row to the first row, set the starting column to column A, set the content to write as the previously read current filtered data, and set the worksheet to iPhone 17. Restore the Excel state, run it again, and once it's done, you'll see a new worksheet has been created in the Excel file on the left named iPhone 17 with all the data from the merge sheet where the model is iPhone 17. The data looks good, but there are still small styling tweaks needed. Can the header format in the new worksheet match that of merge? Here's how to use Set Cell Format in Excel Worksheet. This command lets you set multiple cell formats like borders, fill, font, number format, and so on. You can edit styles manually or just select the style of an existing range in Excel. Click Select in Excel. Drag to pick the header format you want in the merge sheet. The style will be read successfully in the bottom right corner. Click OK. Then click Select in Excel again. Drag to select the header range in the iPhone 17 inches sheet that needs formatting tweaks. The coordinates will generate automatically. And set the worksheet to iPhone 17. After restoring the initial state and running it again, the data still writes correctly, and the header style syncs up with the merge sheet. Next, we need to process the other three models repeatedly. When we talk about repeating something, you'll naturally think of using a loop to get it done. The content to loop through is all the models in column A of the table. Use Red Excel worksheet to pull this column out as a list. And name it Model List. Print it first to take a look. After you disable the other commands, click Run. And the printed result is a list that has an irrelevant header and duplicate content. Therefore, you also need to perform data cleaning on this list. All commands that operate on the list are stored in the list set. Step 1, remove the header, which basically means deleting the first item in the list. You can use Remove Item from List to delete an item from the list. Set it to remove by index, and the index of the first item is 0. Step 2, deduplicate the list. You can use Remove Duplicate Items from List. This command supports removing all duplicate items from the specified list. Run again. And this cleaned list meets our requirements. Enable all the command and continue building. Use for each item in list to loop through model list and name the loop item current model. Drag all the flows below into the loop body, then replace every instance of iPhone 17 inches with current model. At this point, the logic is already pretty complete. Let's test it out and see how it works. Restore the Excel file to its initial state. And after clicking Run, you'll see the data split quickly. Once the run finishes, spot check it. The original merge sheet still has a small issue. After splitting, it stays in a filtered state. You can add a clear filters at the end of the flow to clear the filter, then add a close Excel workbook to let the program save and close the processed Excel file automatically. After restoring to the initial state, run it again. And check the processed Excel file. This time it's perfect. Finally, if you want the program you're building to be more readable, you can add comment to the flow to explain what the following range of commands does. Multiple comment. Entries will split the canvas into different sections. This is super helpful for future debugging and modifications. Finally, let us review the key points of this lesson. One-dimensional lists and two-dimensional lists are essentially both lists, following all the features and operations of list. The only difference between them is the data item type and access method. Each item in a one-dimensional list is a single string or number accessed using list name index. Each item in a two-dimensional list is a one-dimensional list, and you need to access it with list name row index column index. The main reason for using two-dimensional list is that Excel file data gets stored in the program as a two-dimensional list. The basic operations of Excel automation are get, read, write, and loop. Open Excel Workbook supports opening an existing Excel file or creating a new Excel file, and supports manually selecting the file path or referencing variables. Close Excel Workbook and Save Excel Workbook both can achieve the effect of closing the file after save. Reading Excel data uses Read Excel worksheet, and reading methods include cell, row, column, and range. Reading a cell outputs a single item. Reading a row or column outputs a one-dimensional list. Reading a range outputs a two-dimensional list. Writing data to Excel uses Write to Excel worksheet, and writing methods include row, column, and range. The number format of the content to be written needs to correspond to the written range. Row or column requires a one-dimensional list, and range requires a single item or a two-dimensional list. These two commands also support read cells as displayed, trim cell content, column set as text, and other convenient advanced settings. To loop through Excel data, use Loop through Excel worksheet content. This lets you pull and process data row by row so you can do batch operations on Excel files. In addition, Automa also supports many common Excel operations, such as fill down with formulas, formula to value, filter, read filtered data, set cell format in Excel worksheet, and clear filters used in the example. Besides these, there are many powerful commands we did not cover, such as delete data, sheet operations, pivot table, and functions related to run Excel macro. Extended commands also includes fill, text to columns, merge cells, and image processing. For the above commands, those who are interested can consult and use them on their own. All right, that's a wrap for this lesson. See you next time.